In this video, I'm going to talk about my approach for learning French. My name is Scala and welcome to my channel. Everybody has a different way or approach for learning a language. Let me walk you through my system for learning a language. Because I'm a very visual person, I decided to use the stop sign as my graph or my system. So when you're a beginner, you start off with green, then you move on to yellow. Yellow is the longest part, so it's pretty much you would start as a yellow, but you turn into an orange before becoming a red, which is 100% fluent. When you're at the green stage, you're 100% beginner. So you're gonna have to start by learning the basics of vocabulary and grammar. So how do you find the vocabulary to learn as a beginner? Well, most people would tell you to search online for the 100 most common words, or learn numbers and colors. Well, my approach is a little bit different. I recommend learning the words that you use on a daily basis. So what I did was I went to my desk and I found things that I use every single day. Like a pencil, crayon, or a pen, stylo, or a book, livre. Because I wanted to feel that in my world, I could use the words that I'm learning in French. Because I used to live right by the beach and I used to go there every single day, once I was done learning all the vocabulary relating to school, I learned things relating to the beach. Plage, beach. Sun, soleil. Sunglasses, lunettes de soleil. Sand, sable. That way I could use that vocabulary. But it might be different for you. If you live in the city, you might want to know how to say car, voiture. Supermarket, supermarché. That way, each time you learn 2, 3, 4, 5 new words, you feel like you really are improving. These are all the different topics that I wanted to learn and that I focused on learning before learning anything else. Your list could be completely different, but this is just to help you and guide you with my approach. But of course, after I learned everything relating to my life, I did focus on numbers, colors, and all the other basic things. Now let's talk about grammar. Of course, verbs are really important, but I recommend learning the verbs that you use every single day in the beginning. For example, to go, aller, to be, être, to have, avoir. And once you learn the verbs that you use the most every single day, which usually they are irregular, then you can move on to the other verbs. In French, there are 3 types of verbs. Verbs ending in ER, RE, and IR. And they each have their own rule. By learning these rules, you will be able to conjugate most French verbs. And this is really helpful as a beginner. Everybody would tell you to learn all the verbs following these rules. But I recommend grabbing your list and learning the verbs that you use the most of each different conjugation. But always in the present tense, of course. And when you learn these new verbs, you will be able to add different adjectives to form sentences. So how can you put all these things that you're learning into practice? Well, my most effective way are flashcards. I find flashcards really helpful for 2 reasons. Number 1, because I can use them anywhere. I usually like to review my flashcards before going to school, before going to bed, or wherever I can. And the second reason is because I need to write the words and the things down. And by writing the words down, it helps me memorize and learn them faster. If you don't like using flashcards and you prefer Quizlet, that's also a great option. Quizlet is really helpful because you can find a lot of sets already made and because you can listen to the words in French.
L'addition, s'il vous plaît.
The bill, please.
Another way is sticking notes all around your house. I use this method a lot for learning vocabulary relating to school and things around the house. And when you're learning basic vocabulary, feel free to watch the little songs and videos for little kids in French.
Bleu, jaune, rouge et vert, rouge et vert. Bleu, jaune, rouge et vert, rouge et vert.
Once you feel confident with all those new verbs and new basic vocabulary, then that means that you're finishing the green stage and moving on to the yellow intermediate stage. Like I've said, the intermediate stage is divided into two, the yellow and then orange. Let's call the yellow intermediate A and the orange intermediate B. Intermediate A is all about learning new vocabulary and verbs. In this stage, since you are already an intermediate, you're gonna pretend like you're a child learning that language. So you're gonna watch all the shows, all the movies, and it's all gonna be for little kids learning that language. By doing that, all the vocabulary that you're learning is gonna be new, but also not too advanced. And this is also the time to realize why you're learning the language. If it's for a job, learn all the vocabulary that you will need working there. If you're doing it to pass this course, then learn all the vocabulary that you might need for that subject. If you're moving abroad like I did, I had to learn a little bit of everything for living here. And for the verbs, you need to be confident with present tense and start experimenting with future and past tense. Since we are only intermediate A, for the future tense, you will be using the verb aller. That way you will say, I will go, I will eat. That way you can start using future tense, but nothing too complicated. And the same thing will be for the past tense. You will say, I have been. I have the verb. So that will be the verb avoir. When you are in these intermediate levels, it is really important and really helpful to have a tutor or someone to practice with. A tutor is really important because they will help you with the pronunciation, because French is a really hard language to pronounce the U's and the R's. Of course, you can practice that by yourself in the mirror or using Google Translate, but it is really helpful to have a tutor. And they can also help you with grammar. If you cannot find a tutor near you, there are multiple different affordable resources to talk to someone in that language. In Intermediate A, I recommend watching Disney movies, Disney shows, and movies and shows that you've already seen. That way you understand the overall plot and the new vocabulary that you're learning is not too complicated. Yes, you finally passed level yellow or intermediate A. And now you've moved on into intermediate B, level orange. Level orange is all about learning more advanced vocabulary and feeling confident with all the tenses and verbs. Now you will learn the actual tense for future, futur simple, and for the past, imparfait. For this, I recommend getting a verb book. This is an old-fashioned book. It belonged to my father, but it's really helpful and it works. And for the vocabulary, like I've said multiple times before, I recommend full immersion. This means that you're going to be pretending like you're living in that country. So you're going to be reading the newspaper, reading books, watching movies and shows, like a native would do. No more of that things for kids. And if you can, I recommend finding someone to talk to every single day in French. I help a lot of people learning French through Instagram. We talk daily, that way they can learn and improve their French. The next level would be color red. And that is when you are 100% fluent. You would speak French as if it's your first language. That is not the case for me. My level is orange, and I am a good student. I go to school, I have friends, my life is in French, and with a level orange, you can live. I do not feel that it is necessary to be a level red. That is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. See you next week. Au revoir!